And I know it's been a while. I know it's been, almost a month since the series completed. But just like Superman and Lois, by the way, that review, finale review is out. Fighter Verdict is out. Go check that one out. We want to do the same for Bad Batch. We've got to finish what we start. So I don't really care how many views it gets. I do want to leave my opinion on this Star Wars content. Now, I will say right away, as I began episode 10, I believe it is, I was just like, man, feels good to be watching some Star Wars. There was some great stuff after Superman and Lois, some up and downs there. And the Mandalorian, been missing the Mandalorian. So it was good to watch some Star Wars stuff. But let me go ahead and get to the point. We'll do our individual episode ratings and then a sort of final verdict on the season overall. But much like Superman and Lois, I want to say that I enjoyed the series, and I think you should watch it. But I think just like Superman and Lois, very similar to that, it is flawed. And really, there's only sort of one subplot, and the story is stunted a little bit. It's not the greatest story in the world, but it is told strongly. And then there's one subplot that is a pattern throughout the entire series that is just annoying, and it's just grinding. And the series also suffers from a lot of filler episodes in a relatively short season. It's not shortened compared to some of the other Clone Wars content and Rebels content that we've got. 16 episodes, season 1, I felt like a lot of it was filler. As they try to stretch out the story for what ultimately is here. It doesn't feel like it's advancing the Star Wars universe pretty much at all. And that's fine. I mean, we like street-level stuff. But, when it's told like this, it has some flaws. But ultimately, I enjoyed it. I like the Bad Batch team. I like the people that surround the Bad Batch team. But I think I don't like them as much as I do the Rebels cast and their surrounding characters, and the Clone Wars cast and their surrounding characters, and the situations that we've seen in those seasons and the stories in those seasons. So it's solid, but not as strong as a lot of the other Star Wars content that we've got. What is your guys' opinion?
I do like the action, the animation on this. I do want to visit Clone Wars and the other ones you were talking about. This one was a little bit less than... No, this one's... I liked it less.
Yeah. This one?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the main thing with me is Omega.
Yeah.
It seems
That's what
like,
I was talking about.
Yeah, it seems like she took over the squad. It's like, hey, we have to do this. We got to do this. It's like, please, we got to do this. It's like, stay in the ship. Stay in the ship. Negative.
We got to save Omega.
Yeah, it just...
Over and over and
a lot of those filler episodes are based on her, too. I would have preferred her to be like in the comms or do something else and just let the Bad Batch be the Bad Batch. But,
no, it's the Dad Batch.
Yeah.
This one I was excited for. This series I was really excited for because I was thinking we were going to get the A-Team in the Star Wars universe. And we ended up with 4 men and a baby. And it's a bunch of grown-ups acting like kids and kids trying to be grown-ups, but it's not fair because I want to do stuff and I want to go on the mission. And it's, you have 4 or 5 grown...
I can help, too.
Yeah, I can do this. 4 grown men that are going into certain death only because a little kid says, no, Hunter, that's not what we do. It's like, this is not... It is. I was so painfully aware that this TV series was not for me. And it wasn't... I'm not the target audience. This is for people who want to introduce Star Wars to their kids. Yes. And I think the kids may enjoy it, although I'm of the opinion that you can show kids... Even stuff like The Mandalorian and have them understand and appreciate it. Yeah. And you don't have to dumb things down for kids. And this feels like it's so dumbed down.
It's just forced.
And there's some incredible stuff here. The music is good. There's some scenes in the final episode that are gorgeous. Some of the best animation I've ever seen.
Great sound design.
But I hate this story. I didn't want to finish it, and I won't even recommend you watch it. Unless you're watching it with kids or you want to watch something that is I think it's absolutely dumbed down for children. I don't think that this is worth watching.
Well, that's what I was saying. I want to watch Clone Wars because, that doesn't deal with the kids, right?
No,
Hopefully?
I mean,
Okay.
it's here and there. There's episodes that have younger people in it. This obviously, a lot of the people were younger, and then we've seen them in previous Star Wars content as older. But yeah, so I mean, I echo some of those sentiments. So let's Anyways, so here's the thing. Let's just go with the final verdict for the season as a whole. And I know I gave out a lot of 7 and 8s and 6s, but I think I got my Star Wars goggles on for sure. And because I have all the greater context of the animations, of the Clone Wars and the Rebels, but I totally admit that this series is not up to those
It's not what I
levels.
expected.
It's better than, what was it, Star Wars Resistance or Star Wars, the fighter pilot one that only lasted like one season or
Never
something.
saw
It was awful. Not awful. It was just pointless. So it was better than that, but it's not up to the level, and my Star Wars goggles is getting in the way. Let's go with final verdicts of the entire season.
The entire season, there were some high points, but it was mainly the music, the animation, the battles. But overall, the whole story was very tropey and very inconsistent again. Omega ruined a lot of impactful moments for me.
Yeah,
probably 5. This is
Okay.
just an average one. I don't really want to see season 8 or
Makes sense.
season 8, season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, this feels like average TV, which is a shame because there's so many talented people surrounding it. It's an IP that I absolutely love, and like I said, I couldn't recommend people unless you've got really little kids.
for
But even then,
kids.
like if your kids aren't dumb, I think that they would appreciate the original trilogy. And there's you can watch Clone Wars and you can watch Rebels, and I think all of those things are better than this one. So
Probably. I haven't seen. It sounds better.
Joe, please watch Clone Wars.
We
It
got
gives
so
you
much
greater
to watch.
context for a lot of other things. But I agree. I'm gonna go with a 6 out of 10, and it's not a tough love 6 out of 10. It's just flat 6 out of 10. You know what I mean? Because Superman and Lois could have had a 7, could have been better. But this one, it's like, I'm not gonna go back and rewatch this one.
No.
I might go back and rewatch some episodes of Superman and Lois to kind of check things out. But I think ultimately I had some good ones. But that's with my goggles on, a 6 out of 10. Alex is right. Go watch some of this other content, Drew, first before you watch. And I know we're gonna get downvoted because I know the animation in Star Wars and Dave Filoni, they have rabid fans, right? And
Again,
unfortunately, fine,
I
downvote me.
praise that.
Downvote
We
us.
praise that. It was
But
a story.
It's not up to par with some of the greats that they've put out so far. And Star Wars Visions right around the corner. I don't know where it's going to factor in. Is that going to be better than this? Is this better than that? But I'm not excited for season 2. It was too much Omega. It was too much repetition and too much filler episodes
Dead Batch,
for it to
like you
reach the heights other things have. And that's a perfect summary. It is the Dead Batch. So that's it for us here at the Angry Joe Show and for our Bad Batch Star Wars review. I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, we'll see what kind of stuff they'll tease us with season 2 and the trailer that they eventually release for it. But I'm not excited
More
for
rescue missions, I bet.
dreading it.
and we know that she's not getting older, so you know that it'll be more mature. She'll be the same because she doesn't
Yep.
age like they do.
Well,
She's older
maybe
than them.
Because
we'll-
she's older than them. So.
Perfect. Okay. We'll see. Well, maybe that'll make things better. Okay. Well, then let's go to the actual episode. So when we last left off, we had an arc where Omega was captured by the bounty hunter, Cat Bane, and then we had also the bounty hunter from The Mandalorian, and the Bad Batch was able to escape, where Fennec is a kind of a good guy who's helping Omega. And now, episode 10, we have Common Ground. And this is when I was like, man, I really like the fact I'm watching Star Wars from this angle, the ground level. This is a great ground level episode. It's what it's like for an occupied planet when the Empire comes and takes things over and is given their speech. You guys just shut the fuck up and we're taking over. And then and the senator has some doubts, and then he gives a speech where it's like, no, I can't do that. This is wrong. And then here comes the tank. And it's like, oh, fuck. This is the Empire. So I like that. And, they leave Omega behind again.
She wants to come along.
She wants to come along and say,
I'm part
hey,
of the team.
Yeah. No. Yeah? You want to be a part of the team? Follow orders. Stay behind. So she's like, that gets her once, where she's like, okay, I'll stay behind. And so the whole point is the Bad Batch is sent to sort of rescue the senator via the droid, his droid assistant. And Omega sort of stays back with Sid, who, is the contractor that gives them all their missions. And we get a great ground level episode of Occupation. There's a tank battle. There's a tank chase throughout the streets. Just awesome, gunfire and explosions and stuff.
That's what I wanted more of.
Yeah. Well, watch Clone Wars, goddammit. And then Sid gets
so much to watch.
Sid gets Omega to in this side story that nobody really cares about. She gets Omega to play Dejarik, which is the actual. What's the name of the digital chess
Chewie
game?
was playing.
It's Dejarik, and she's really good at it apparently. And so while they are doing the mission on the planet rescuing, of course they rescue the senator. She manages to pay off the debts of the Bad Batch with Sid. So
must have been a lot of winnings.
But they immediately forget about it because in every episode following, they're talking about like being out of food and money.
Right.
They're the worst. That pisses me off.
They must not charge the right prices for their thing.
Or the writers simply forgot.
Sid is a fucking piece of shit character, and the writers forgot. Yeah, you got to create some kind of tension and drama. So, but the episode is basically Omega continues to earn her place, and I liked it. I really did. So I wanted to give this one like a 9 out of 10, an 8 out of 10. Ultimately, because she was so sidelined, Omega was basically not a part of the episode, and it was basically the Bad Batch. I want to go ahead and end up with an 8 out of 10. Yeah, 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to go with an 8 as well, because this one, it's like, sure, she's doing something, but it's kind of in the background. And this is the main attraction. We get to see the battles. We get to see the cool animations.
Chases
and all that stuff going on. I was like, yeah, this is what I wanted from it.
What about you, Alex?
Yeah, I think this is a pretty good one. I like that she was sidelined. I like that we finally get into some skirmishes and we get to see them do what they do. They kind of tease these fights so much where I wish there could have been like more tension in some of them. But yeah, I think it's an enjoyable one. I'm gonna give it a 7.
Okay, episode 11 is next. That's Devil's Deal, and what do they mean by that? Well, this is a prequel episode to one of the main characters in Rebels, Hera, the Twi'lek, who becomes a general, and we hear her name announced in what was it? Star Wars. What was it? Rogue One. And, I loved it because I love Rebels. I love Chopper. Chopper's in the episode. I fucking love Chopper and Hera. So Hera is a little girl here, and this is a story of Ryloth, the Twi'lek's imperial occupation. So another imperial occupation. The series is trying to, make a point of the Empire sort of taking things over. And I don't know with the Ryloths. I guess they all have French accents. At least these particular Ryloths have French accents. But I don't really notice that in Star Wars. Maybe with Hera, her father and mother. But so the Syndulas basically. Hera meets Omega in this episode. So they were both little kids, and I heard Alex and groaning in the, oh great, now we have 2 little kids in this. I was like, but this is a previous character from another series.
Yeah, a series that he's not familiar with. I'm vaguely familiar with. I don't remember any part of it.
Yeah, so. And Joe was wondering what was going on. He's like, oh no, please don't let there be 2 kids.
Yeah, 2 kids. Well, because Hera's whining the whole time. I'm a kid. I'm not a kid. I can do stuff. It's like, you're a kid. Shut the fuck up. You almost started a war again.
She's a great pilot in the series, so they kind of plant the seeds there that she wants to be a pilot. and stuff. So obviously the Twi'leks are like, there's a little faction of them that says, no, this is wrong. We're going to resist. We need some weapons, because they start handing in their weapons voluntarily, most of them. And so her uncle, her dad's brother is like a leader of that, and he's like, I'm gonna go buy some weapons. And so he goes off planet. Crosshair is there, puts a tracker on his fucking ship, and I was like, well, if BMWs and Audis and luxury cars have these little hit detection systems, how the fuck don't goddamn spaceships have a detection
Talking about
system?
future technology. This happened a long time ago.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
That's right. A long time ago.
Yeah, they don't
Long,
have
long
that yet.
time
And
ago.
the
Don't even have
galaxy
airbags
far, far
yet.
away.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyways, but so they track her uncle, who buys weapons from the Bad Batch, and that's how we get the meeting between Hera and Omega. Again,
And
if
this,
we
like,
don't really care about Omega and you guys don't really know about Hera, you're like, this is boring. What is going on
Yes.
here? This is inconsequential.
None of this would have happened without
Nobody
Omega,
cares.
though.
Also, Hera gets almost her whole family killed for no reason, and it's all
She's just
convenience.
chilling.
And it's
Why?
Didn't like she sneaks on to go smuggle weapons. She almost starts.
It was implied that her uncle that they
She wanted
sent
to
her out
fly.
on the spying mission of this new refinery.
Yeah, so she gets in trouble because, and the stakes are known to everyone. It's just like, look, you are this general's daughter. If you're caught doing this, you can have everyone will get killed. And then she immediately does it again by going on this weapon smuggling thing, and then it causes a bunch of people to
She
die.
wanted to fly.
And all
Alex.
of the good the clones that I like are now in jail, probably getting murdered.
I thought that maybe the Empire would show up at the meeting, but no, they let the meeting go down, and because honestly, there's a dozen rifles. I was like, a dozen rifles for
3
that
dozen.
entire planet? Oh, 3 dozen.
Well, they weren't rifles either. They
They
were
were
pistols.
blasters and shit. Okay, so but as the ship comes back, Crosshair shoots it down. Everybody gets caught. And the mom and dad are the ones that spring into action instead of any kind of resistant soldiers, sort of to give them some backstory and some heroics. Like, oh, cool, we're watching Hera, and oh, her parents were kind of little action heroes too. And they basically they're set up for killing the counselor, her parents, and sort of they turn everything against them. But Hera manages to escape with Chopper. So, and then that's it. So I like the episode because I have Rebel back history and I understood what was going on and, of setting it up. But I didn't think it was as good as the previous Occupation episode. So I'm going to go with 7 out of 10.
4.
What?
This is, if you are wondering what the Bad Batch is like for someone in a vacuum, this is writing that I like Dave Filoni, and I think he's capable of much better writing than this. This is a bunch of kids doing stupid shit, people dying over it, and like all of these characters that they introduce that, like all of these nice clone troopers that are somehow, they don't have the chips in their brain, even though the inhibitor chips are supposed to prevent them from like disobeying
Hold on,
orders.
That's the next episode.
No, the leader guy is even disobeying in this episode.
Yeah.
He's trying to
isn't
save the
this-
daughter
yeah.
and stuff like that. This is
Okay.
just him not paying attention to the lore that they've established. This is kids getting a ton of people killed for no reason, and it's plot driven through convenience. This episode was not good for me.
Okay, Joe.
For me, I'm gonna give this a 6 because this episode wouldn't have happened if Omega didn't do anything. It's like, why the hell did you give our emergency contact to this girl?
Because they need the
Out of
episode to
nowhere,
happen.
Exactly. So you're gonna do that? It's like, hey, we gotta do it. It's like, well, this is dangerous. No, we have to do it. Like, okay, she's a leader. Let's go do it.
We're gonna defy
and
the
the
whole
worst
empire.
Bad Batch ever. The complaining about food. He's like, I'll double it. Here's your money. No, keep it.
Right, so they're broke.
the fuck are you
And then
doing?
the guy's like, "Thank you.
We
Here's
need money.
Some
We
double
need
money."
money. It's like, you coulda
give
had
it-
money.
Shut the fuck up.
Yes.
Yeah, just take the goddamn
Take
money.
the
I
goddamn
understand
money.
you're trying
It
to
was
do the
dangerous.
beginnings of the rebellion and how everybody's so gracious and doing the right thing. No, you need to.
Even if they would have been like,
They're
here's
mercenaries.
double, it's like, no, just give me half.
They're
me some of
fucking
it.
Just give me
contractors
half.
that don't fulfill their.
I would have been fine.
That don't get reimbursed for their contract. Anyways, so
What about those clone troopers that are now going to die because of them?
So episode 12, Rescue on Ryloth, continues that little mini arc. And this is when I wanted to get into Howitzer, who is this clone trooper who has been questioning the orders. But well, wait a minute, why are we rounding up peaceful people and this and that? And then eventually in this episode, he kind of defies things.
Yeah.
And Alex is like, it's like, how is this guy doing this? His inhibitor chip would have prevented him. I was like, no, Alex, this is before Order 66. I was like, wait a minute, the series starts.
Yeah, well.
The first episode, Order 66 goes down. So it's like, how did this guy defy his chip? Well, maybe he was a part of the same batch. That the Bad Batch was a part, or
They got
some of
chips.
the captains. I know, but they can. Okay, Howitzer is special. He can.
Okay, so how does
he
Bullseye
can-
defy his chip in this episode?
Well, you mean Crosshair?
Crosshair.
Whatever.
Yeah,
it's the
so
same fucking
Crosshair
shit.
has a double chip.
He has a double
'Cause
chip.
He has a more powerful chip, and he cannot defy the double
Except
chip.
for in this episode.
What does he defy?
Go to the refinery. That's where I want you. And he goes, no, I'm going to stay here.
Okay, well, that is a small hint at what the reveal is that he doesn't have a chip.
Oh, so the chip doesn't prevent you from removing the chip? That seems
Yeah.
like a stupid-ass
So-
inhibitor chip.
Well, he had a chip, and then his
Shut up,
chip was
Alex.
removed. Just shut up,
His
Alex.
2 chips were
Shut
removed?
up. Okay, however, no, I agree with you. It's like, well, let's talk. Give me more on how Howitzer was able to do that, because the whole thing is Order 66, all of the troopers are acting a certain way. But, okay, he's able to defy. Because I was certain, I know the captains and some of the specialists are given certain amount of automation, autonomation, essentially. But then, no, because Order 66. All right, anyways. The Bad Batch meets up with Hera to break out her parents in this episode. Crosshair is there, so you're headed for a confrontation. Honestly, I caught kind of glossy-eyed in this one. I was just looking at my phone a lot, and I was like, here we just had a rescue mission, so now we're going to do another rescue mission. So the team rescues her parents, and, Howitzer manages to create a distraction so that they can escape. A distraction defying. And not only does he defy, but he gives a speech where other soldiers start to defy their chips, I guess.
Yeah, I would have been like, oh, they're getting arrested? No, fuck that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have the opportunity because you have an inhibitor chip in your brain.
Joe would be like, you're under arrest.
He's right.
He's a great.
He's right.
shit.
Arrest that guy. Yeah,
right,
fuck
yeah.
that guy.
Fuck that guy. Perfect. Anyways,
I don't know what's going
we
on.
don't
with the
know what
chip.
happened to Howitzer. I guess he's
He's arrested or
that's
probably
it.
died.
He's
I don't
fucked.
know.
They're probably going to get
Fuck.
tortured to death.
I think I looked on the wiki. He continued to fight for the Empire, and because they fight for the chip. I don't know. Anyways,
They put 3 chips in his head this time.
yeah, Crosshair requests permission to hunt them down. So I did not like this episode. I got glossy-eyed. I got disengaged. But it started to pick back up once they were doing the rescue, the operations. I like operations. So I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10, slightly above average, but loses a lot of points for kind of meandering and repeating what you did. And not really a great resolution to the mini Hera cameo arc. What would you say?
5.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a 5.
All right.
It was just average. All the complaints that the Bad Batch was having, they could have had money, at least half. Omega
Even Lone
started
Star and
this.
Barf
Some
get-
Oh my God.
inconsistency with this. It's like, what? Wait, no, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Half of the time, this episode, I'm like, wait, that doesn't make sense because this. Wait,
And
what are we doing? I was like, wait, okay, I'm lost.
Yeah, I actually blended these two this episode and the last episode
Same.
together. So like I think it's this is below average Star Wars content. I think this is below average TV. Like these
So
two
you're gonna go
episodes,
4 out of 10?
4 out of 10.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. The next one, episode 13, Infested. Here you get sort of a horror kind of thing with caves, and it's a filler episode, unfortunately. I like the fact that you got these little mines and your futuristic mine carts, them 3D rides we all used to do when we were kids. It's kind of like that. Roland shows up, new character, takes over Sid's parlor. He's the new fucking honcho in the underworld. The Bad Batch helps Sid to take it back because Sid helped them, but it's all about the money, and so they help her.
they didn't get
And
any
honestly, I don't really care about Sid, so I don't really care about retaking her shit for her. And they were supposed to set up Sid more emotionally in the episode with the the chess, but no, didn't really work for me. So what their plan is to steal the spice, Roland's spice, because he's supposed to do a deal with the Pikes, and they are fucking crazy. If you don't do what they say and give them their shit, they're gonna kill you. So they steal his spice. They do this little mines adventure. They say you got to be very quiet. And that's the title of the episode, Infested, because there are these bugs down in the mines. And if you make any noise at all, which everybody fucking makes noise nonstop, once on their way there, once on the way back, and then another time they make more noise, it's like, please shut the fuck up. But anyways, so they steal his spice. The Pikes are like, hey, where's our spice? And they're like, fuck you, Roland, and they smack him around, and then they show up to take over the parlor. They win, but Roland's still there and the Pikes are still there, and they're like, give us our spice.
Why would you enter? It's like, watch them
just leave.
Just wait for them to fucking leave.
Just fucking relax. Yeah, but Roland's going to snitch on him anyway and say, it was Sid, so you go get Sid. So now Sid owes the Pikes the fucking spice. So then they have to go back into the mines and get the spice because they dropped it on the way out the first time they made noise with the bugs. And as they pick up the boxes, they make more noise and the bugs come back, and then that's it. And then they get the thing and they give the fucking spice to the Pikes.
Yep.
And then they chop off his horn.
Roland, yeah. So there was one little thing in there where they try to put some characterization on Roland, say, hey, maybe he's not that bad because he's got the little pet, Rose. Ruby, and Ruby likes Omega, and then Omega's like, well, maybe Roland's not all that bad because Ruby likes him.
Ruby is adorable. It's the only
Ruby
good part
is adorable.
The only good part of this whole episode. This whole episode is the Bad Batch trying to help out someone who treated them as an indentured servant.
Yeah.
We've already paid off the debt. There's no allegiance there whatsoever. She's told them over and over that I don't give a shit about you.
Yeah.
And it's all of them going, nah, man, like, because they're trying to be adults going, well, we don't have to, this is not our thing. We don't have to be here. And then Omega's like, no, Hunter, we got to go do it. And then they go do it. So then they don't do anything in the tension with the horror thing. I would have loved if they did some really cool horror thing. There's no tension with the bugs whatsoever. None.
Other than don't make noise and they make noise.
Yeah, and then they make noise, but they make noise like nothing happens with any of that
So
stuff.
how do they beat the bugs? Well, the bugs don't like light, and they made noise the 5th time, and they throw a light bomb, and the bugs dissipate, and they go home. So 4 out of 10. This is one that I didn't like. I was like, fucking. I can see where this is going. Slightly below average. It's a filler episode. It's pointless. I don't care about Sid. I don't care about Roland. What are we doing here? Move on. What did y'all think?
I agree with that. It's a 4. I was hoping they would do something else with the mine or something. I was like, oh, that's going to be cool. This is a new little underground thing. Mm-hmm. Do some tension, kind of like the Mandalorian did with the spiders or something.
No.
Something cool. Something huge is going to come out. They got to fight that, but they're like, no. And one line could have kind of saved it for me. Mm-hmm. Sid could have been like, look, I know a lot of secrets from you. You have to do this for me, and then we're square.
She did just say that.
But then like Omega's like, no, she helped us out. Now we have to do
help
it.
them. Yeah,
You didn't need to write that in. Why?
No,
you know why?
It was dumb.
Yeah, I'm also gonna go 4. I think this is below average, and it's not just filler stuff because there's filler episodes of other Star Wars content that are fine. Like this, I have problems with. You set up something cool. Let's explore the cool aspects. At least tell me why everyone is so afraid of these bad guys. Like, give me some more. Like,
I wanted to know.
Everyone's afraid about them.
I just realized that. Hey, the Pikes in a lot of the expanded lore and other little things you have to read. They're fucking badass, and we've seen a little bit of it in other series and in this series too. But
I want to know more about them.
Yeah.
They were more intriguing in this episode.
Yeah, and so they didn't do anything with the cool stuff that they set up, so it's below average. 4.
Episode 14, War Mantle. Rex is in trouble on a remote planet. This sort of starts the final arc of the series. There's 3 episodes left here. The Empire basically cancels all contracts with Camino. They get kind of scared because they're like, well, they don't need us anymore. They're probably just going to come and attack us and take our technology. So let's get the fuck out of here. And simultaneously, new troopers are replacing clones. They're getting recruits from all across the galaxy. We don't really need you anymore. We have numbers instead of quality. So they do a lot of that. So you see some Republic commandos, though. So you get to see some cool commando armor. And another rescue mission. They rescue Rex's friend. I forget his name. Inconsequential. He's
Do you know where he ends up?
the trainer. Where does he end up?
We don't know. That's what I'm asking. Like
It's the same thing with fucking the previous guy, Howitzer.
He's in jail.
Yeah.
No, but we saved this guy. And
that's right.
We
And
spent
then he
this
kinda disappears.
We traded our most important figure because surprise, the rescue mission goes bad.
Hunter is left behind.
Hunter is left behind, and they save this dude, and we don't know where this dude is, why he was important, his involvement with Rex, nothing. It's just
nothing.
It's like, where did that guy go?
So I was like, what the fuck? And then at the same time, the head of Camino is seemingly killed. The door's closed. You don't actually see the murder. So maybe in some expanded lore shit, they'll do something where, you know,
because
he
I was
gets out of it.
expecting at least the laser sound or something whenever
No,
it closed. So I didn't hear
Is
nothing.
that too bad for Disney? You can't do that? No, they've shown
they should've.
people being killed
Yeah,
before.
the Mandalorian is on Disney Plus.
So I'm sure that he got out of there, and maybe in season 2 they'll figure something out or
Yeah,
something.
that's what I was
don't
thinking
know.
too.
But or they just did a really poor way of killing him off, and he actually is dead.
Yeah. Hope he's dead.
Anyways, Crosshair visits Hunter in jail. Okay. Again, this episode kind of sucked. It was like, it felt, okay, it was the start of the arc, but it was just not impactful enough for me to start the arc. I thought it was average. I thought it was 5 out of 10. What about y'all?
For this one, I was getting tired of rescue missions. It's like, please, please.
No.
Like
do
the third in the
something
row or
else.
something.
Yeah.
No, it was another rescue mission. I was honestly being bored with this one. There's
Just
we
to
gotta
let you know,
escape
Joe,
some
Clone Wars
tension.
has other things.
There's some
Okay,
filler
well,
in
that's
Clone Wars,
good.
but
You
I
wanna
enjoyed
watch
Clone
Clone
Wars a lot.
Yeah,
better than
this one was probably a 4 for me. It's another rescue mission. I was like, I don't care. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know why he's so important.
Right.
And then he
then he
disappears.
disappears.
Anyways, but my question is, why don't the stormtroopers use that big ass ring gun?
They
Oh,
don't-
that's
they-
set to stun.
they
That's
have
how.
no
That's how they
incentive
signal.
to.
The Bad Batch don't refuse to kill any clones or troopers, and so their gun is always set to stun because they're the good guys.
They could
Troopers
actually
are gonna
shoot.
kill.
I was
They
like,
don't
they
give
could
a fuck.
actually shoot somebody. It's a bigger.
Oh, I see what you're
Oh,
saying.
yeah.
It's like, hey, you guys suck.
Yeah, yeah.
Here, take this
Oh,
gun.
these guys do
stun
suck.
them,
Yeah.
put them in
The
jail,
circle
do something
is
else.
about 200 times bigger than a small little laser bolt.
Even if you miss, it'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm also going with a 4. And this also seemed lazy. Didn't in the last episode, didn't Omega specifically say, they don't let me fly, I don't know how to fly until I learn how to recite everything in this whole cockpit?
Yes.
And then this mission, she's a combat pilot that's flying all over the goddamn place, and she's flying
must
everywhere.
have got-
Like, what the fuck, Dave Filoni? Like, you are the guy that puts in, like, Easter
Inconsistency.
eggs on top of Easter eggs and writes everything. Well, I thought was writing everything. Like, what is happening? This is below average Star Wars stuff.
It was not written
Pause.
by Dave.
Pause.
Okay, sorry about that. Had to take a phone call real quick. It's not Dave Filoni that wrote that particular episode. It was Damani Johnson.
Oh, did they not watch the previous episode?
So maybe the lines got crossed there. I don't know.
Okay.
No, they didn't.
All right.
Okay, so let me make sure. What was your rating on it was what was your rating, Alex? You were the last
4.
one. 4. Okay, cool. Moving on to episode 15, Return to Camino. The last 2 episodes I consider a single part, and part 1 and part 2. And these were awesome. These were great. Just some like more ground level stuff, right? Camino, Return to Camino. So they made a promise that Omega wouldn't have to go back there. They got to go back there, but it works out in their favor. She's now a part of the team, and she knows the place and can get them to the different things. They find AZ, that robot guy that we met before. He's in there, and he kind of joins the team. And then Crosshair kind of gets them caught and catches them. But then, weirdly, I didn't understand. His motivation makes no sense to me. He gives them a chance to join the Empire. Maybe he just doesn't believe the Bad Batch when they're telling him, bro, like
They don't
they're
care about
replacing you.
Yeah.
They're using they don't care about clones, and they don't. But he's like, join the Empire, and it's like, but why? It doesn't make sense. You just saw them do, what they're doing. You've been there the whole time. You see the transition over. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, so Omega knocks out a trooper. because she's trying to do something in the background while the team is doing that. She knocks out a trooper with, the drones before they're able to grab her. And unfortunately, who triggered the training bots?
She did.
She did.
See, I didn't want that to be the truth, but it's the truth. And she triggers too many trainers. Like, oh, God. And so then the team has to fight the training bots while they're fighting Crosshair at the same time. Before that, Crosshair is like, stand down, because I want to give these guys a chance. They're like negative, and he's like, all right, a single shot fucking kills them all. Crosshair is cool. Like, his skill set is fucking cool. But anyway, so then they fight. While they fight, they eventually win. This is a lot of action, so there's not much story. So they fight, they win, and they stun Crosshair.
Well, before that, Crosshair actually helps Hunter.
Correct. They start because
like,
they're a little overwhelmed by the droids.
Yeah.
Maybe so he starts fighting, and instead of shooting him, shoots a droid, and everybody's fighting together. They win, and it doesn't matter because Hunter is already pointing the gun at Crosshair. When Crosshair realizes that there's no more droids, boom, stun, and he's down. But just then, up in orbit, we've got, not in orbit, but in low atmosphere, the ship is ordered to destroy the Camino facility because they've captured the scientists, they've evacuated all the personnel that they want, and fire at will, says, Moff
It
Tarkin.
seemed pretty empty, though.
Yeah, and they go,
I kind of,
yes, they're destroying it. It's like, fuck your shit.
There should be some people
why not just
there.
occupy it? Is that what you're going to
No,
say?
there should be some people in there because they're like, we don't need these people.
Only essential. Like,
only essential, but like,
leave a few people to make more tension. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Holy.
Kids can't deal with that, though.
But like explosions, you
Right.
don't have to show them die.
But goddamn,
like
I love
something.
the sounds of those fucking lasers
Yeah, that was
beating
cool.
the goddamn shit out of the fucking, and then the whole thing starts to rip apart. I just love hull damage. Anyways, they retreat inside when they notice, oh fuck, we're gonna get to the ship. Nope, we got to retreat inside. The whole thing blows up. Liked the episode, understood the episode, and see where it's going. It's coming to a head, but it's like, oh shit, okay. 8 out of 10 on this. What about you?
This is the final one, right?
No.
No.
This is Return.
Part 1.
Part 1. return of
15.
this
What
one.
would you give Return to Camino episode 15? 8 out of 10. It ends with the ships firing and destroying the whole place.
That's right. I'm probably going to go with the 7 on this one.
Okay. Alex?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the 7. Again, it falls into the pit of whoever's writing this didn't think about anything. They're like the most dangerous 4 people against the entire
This was
empire.
written by Matt McNovitz.
So the admiral knows that the Bad Batch is here, and he sends 4 dudes. 4. They even know
they
that they're
don't
coming.
even bother to look for their ship.
They
and
don't
destroy it.
do anything. I mean, it's just I loved it. It looked amazing. The music was amazing. I was looking for a hype, like, because it's like, man, this is how we're finishing this thing. And so yeah, it's good. It's a 7.
Music
He
was
even
really
said,
good. Man,
he
write
even
it
said back in Rescue on Ryloth, he's like, I guess I've underestimated your friends because they caused so much mayhem.
Yeah,
but then he does it again.
Commander, yeah, he does it. Episode 16 is, I guess, just Camino Lost, and it is they get separated under the capital ship fire, and it's Omega, Crosshair, and the robot, and the rest of the team. And Omega ends up saving Crosshair from drowning as she uses her bow to get him out, and then the wreckage continues to collapse. The wreckage, though, conveniently manages to land on the underground tunnel to where they're able to just cut a hole and then go into the underground tunnel. It's like a cave, but all right, fine. And then they have to get to the tunnel so that they can go up the tube and get to their ship. It's just so convenient. And then a creature is seen, and normally the creature is dissuaded from biting the tunnels or fucking with the tunnels because it's electrified, but there's no power. So he starts to bite the tunnel. But AZ is the robot manages to power it just enough. Just in a completely destroyed facility. Apparently, there's just enough power to shock the creature, enough for it to go away, but not enough to power anything else. So again, another sort of written convenience thing. Then they get this idea to use these tubes that the clones are born in order to float to the surface. But at first, it's like, well, there's a lot of debris coming down. We're going to get destroyed, but they're going to use AZ to guide them. He's going to use the rest of his power to guide the tubes. But they foreshadow AZ is losing power. And it's like, okay, well, we know exactly what's going to happen. So they do all the tubes. They shoot out the windows, and then the tubes float to the top. Everybody makes it to the top except for Omega. Little debris hits it. AZ tries to save her, cuts her out, uses this last power to shove her, and you're supposed to cry for AZ. You're supposed to be very sad. I mean, I like AZ, but I don't like him that much. So I was like, all right. But then Crosshair ends up, because he made it to the top, saving AZ. It looked like he's going to shoot some, but no, he gets AZ and Omega. So kind of saves them. And
did we mention that?
The only thing I could keep,
Did we mention about him not having the chip, apparently?
He says you didn't.
Well, we're about to get there.
Okay.
Hold on. So,
because you were at the end, I was just saying.
Luckily, these motherfuckers, they parked so far away. There's one fucking platform left. Everything else is left. One platform with a tube.
It was secret.
Why is there a platform so fucking far away from the facility that
For that purpose?
It's just riding convenience is not very. It's not there. It's not very good. And then anyway, so then we get to that part where they're like, "Look, join us. Like, you're still our brother. Why are you doing this? I know the only reason why you're doing this is because of the Ultra Inhibitor chip." And he says, "No."
He had it removed.
I'm always like this.
I'm
a dick.
How.
So the inhibitor chip doesn't stop you from removing the inhibitor chip. They forgot to inhibit the removal.
Well, no, he did. He did have an Ultra Inhibitor, and then I guess he did so good at being a jerk that he asked for it to be removed, or he removed it himself. But he's still a jerk.
He's allowed. You're allowed to remove your own control advice.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
because he did a good job.
So in Star Wars,
I'm trying to write it.
No one thought about this. You shouldn't either.
Well, anyways, they tell Hunter tells him one of the kind of dumbest lines ever, because in context it makes no sense. He says, "We want different things, but that doesn't mean that we have to be enemies." And I'm like, in this context, it is. You do have to be enemies.
You're telling me
He's
the
a part of
Empire and the Rebellion are not frenemies?
No, right. I mean, they're fucking. They have to be enemies.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any damn sense, because he wants them to join the Empire, and they want him to join their family. Not necessarily the Rebellion, but their family. I mean, I guess they are full blown against the Empire, but. Anyways, I thought that they were going to give him a ride. Instead, they get in the fucking ship and they fly off, and Crosshair dies from starvation.
Yeah. I don't know what happens to him.
Cool. There's no other fucking ships on the goddamn
They said that there's
planet.
scouts coming.
All right.
So they're going to pick him up and...
Yeah.
Sort of, or something. I don't know.
I guess.
It's like, you assholes, you left
Scouts
me.
are-
Why? He's like, oh, we forgot.
Well, hold on. More bad writing. The order was given, let the clones die. Because it's like, well, we still have, clones. Let the clones die. So you tell me the scouts are going to pick up the clones? He said, motherfuckers, I said let the clones die. Why are you picking up this motherfucker?
And they say, like, see, they don't even care about you. They're fucking firing. They know you're in here.
It doesn't make it. It's just stupid. And I guess it's to continue to set up the drama between Crosshair and his team. Does he really love his brothers? Is he shows signs of maybe relating back to them and breaking free of his control? Is he a real asshole? Could they ever make up? But the problem is making that the crux of everything. It's just not that compelling to me. I don't really care about Crosshair that much and the team dynamic that much.
Yeah.
And same thing with. Omega, but here's the kicker, Joe. So then they set up season 2, because it's already confirmed we're getting a Bad Batch season 2. And when I heard that, I was like, really? Like, I wasn't like, yeah, all right, Bad Batch season 2. I was like, all right, basically. So here's the kicker for season 2: Camino scientist. So then they bring the Camino scientist to the base, and she is greeted by another scientist with a logo on her shoulder. And what's the logo from? It's the Mandalorian,
logo,
the same scientist that
Oh.
was in the Mandalorian. And they want to tie the cloning. Well, basically, it's the Camino cloning logo. And then I think it's just tying everything together. Now we're tying Bad Batch to Mandalorian, and then Mandalorian to the prequels, and then maybe they're going to try to say that the cloning that the Emperor did to still survive somehow is related to all this stuff.
I told you Dave Filoni would try to save the garbage that was Rise of Skywalker, and he's trying.
I knew they would try to tie it to, I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch my original video, see if I agree with it or not. But ultimately, it's the second part I gave a 7 out of 10. It's like it was mostly just, the convenience of the ride. I understand a few situations where they just narrowly missed and did this, but it's like it was just, it didn't feel like a climax to me. It just felt like, hey, let's get out of this wreckage and let's fight back. And then it ends. They get out of the wreckage and then it ends. Okay, so what do you think?
What are you going to give it?
I gave it a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10? Okay. I'm torn between a 5 or 6 because I honestly feel this is the biggest one for me. I know I say this a lot. Omega ruined a big impact for emotions or something because I think if Hunter would have been on the other side, he's like, I'll give you a second chance. I'll save you this time or something because they're brothers. He's like, it's my turn to give you a second chance. It's like, just cause at the end, it could have been like, just because you saved me doesn't mean we're brothers again. Something like that.
Right.
That would have been more emotional than just Omega. Just be like, I saved you. Mm-hmm. Why?
Well,
they should have just done the other one.
Yeah.
They should have just been the other one. So. 5.
Yeah, this episode actually made me incredibly sad for a couple reasons. It is one of the coolest looking animations we've seen in a long time. It shows how amazing this TV show could have been if they didn't have such low opinions of children.
Great story. Yeah, if it had a great story.
If they had, there was no tension because maybe it's because they think the kids don't understand tension. There was no on-screen killing. They couldn't even do the thing where the robot sacrifices himself to save the team, like in Big Hero 6. They're trying to go for all these different things, but it's so convenient.
Omega says, we have to save him. I'm going to go for AZ.
You know how much more
it's written by Jennifer Corbett.
Yeah,
so again, not Dave Filoni. But maybe they need better writers and stop having these single episode writers. Well, Jennifer actually wrote like 4 or 5 of these.
Yeah, she probably just thinks kids are stupid or just don't have the emotional capacity, and that's just not true at all. Like you can have there. It would have meant something.
They can't sell the AZ dolls, Alex, if he dies off.
Of course they could. They could just sell. They could sell Ruby dolls or whatever the thing was. They could have done so much with this TV show, but they pulled back on the tension. They pulled back on the emotional impact because they didn't want to scar the kids. And it just made this episode made me so sad because the music was stellar, the look was stellar. I know I like the team, I like the dynamic, I like so much about the show and what it could have been.
Yeah.
And this was the ultimate reminder that it will never be there because they hate children or they think kids are stupid or whatever the hell the reason was. Yeah. So this one is going to get a 5. It is average at best. The writing is poor, and it makes me sad, and I don't want to watch next season.
Okay.
A thing we forgot to mention, though, I don't know if we talked about this or not. Omega, we find out that she was the first one.
She's older.
She's actually older than the other clones.
Which doesn't make any sense that she's named Omega.
And then the end scene.
Instead of Alpha.
Yeah, the end scene, again, she's like, hey, you're my brother.
Well, the Alpha
They're
was,
my brothers.
about the bounty hunter, Django. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show.
Bye, guys.